Hello, I'm Jess from Studio Ballet Revolution. Today we are going to be rethinking how we approach point work. So we're going to start without our shoes on. I highly recommend you have your shoes close by and a small object. I have a cat toy. My cat's toy here. So just something that you will be able to use. It can be a little ball, it can be anything. I'm going to put that aside for the moment. So we're going to go over a few things first before we start some exercises. Let's talk about alignment. For point work, alignment is so important. So remember, we always want to have our hips with our headlights facing 12 o'clock, that feeling of the fountain, right, from the soles of the feet up through the body, and that beautiful lifting up and reabsorbing that energy, right? So that is the first thing. We also really want to be aware of the connection between our shoulders and where the hamstring and glute meet. So that's really, really important to help stabilize the pelvis and to take pressure out of our feet. We do not want to be in pain when we are doing point work, okay? So yes, we have to adjust to the tightness of the shoes, but we can help ourselves and make it much more fun. So we want to feel that connection of the shoulders with that little lift, that fire where the hamstring and the glutes meet are connected at all times. This is good for everyone. So this video is made for people that have already done point work with a teacher and are able to correct themselves, and it's safe for them at home, that they don't have a really slippery surface. Wonderful. Please do the exercise with me. If you don't have that, or you haven't done point work but you're curious, please feel free to watch this video. You will learn a lot, and also you can apply how we're articulating through the foot, the pointing of the foot, and our work on demi-pointe. You can apply that to your ballet class. So feel free to watch this video, but because I'm not there and I cannot correct you, please everyone be safe and go at your level and capabilities. So let's go ahead. What might be a little bit different is that what I like to focus on is the bottom of the foot. So when we are doing our tendus or battement tendus, a demi-pointe or point work, I want you to focus on the sole of your foot. So instead of going from the top of the foot, we're going from underneath. I find when we do that, it helps us to activate the back of the legs more, or turn up more, and stabilize our pelvis. And a huge bonus, I have found it's really helped my foot to develop. When I was young, I had feet that were very, very, basically like that. I did not have an arch when I was young, and I was actually told by a professional school that I could never be a professional ballet dancer because of my feet. I did not like to hear that answer. I did not want to, I had dreams and I wanted to be a professional ballet dancer, so I worked hard. I learned what was going on with my foot, and I was able to develop my foot and become a professional ballet dancer. So always go for your dreams and learn to work with your body, not against it. I think that is the biggest thing I learned, was to not fight my foot, but to learn to work with my body, be gentle, and it's amazing how incredible things can happen. So we're gonna go ahead and do an exercise in a minute, but before that, I just wanna show you that principle of that idea of going under the foot. So you want to imagine, I like the image of like a rainbow. So you feel the arc of the rainbow underneath, and we're really going through that demi-pointe from under the foot. I continue under the foot and I'm coming up. So it's like you're peeling your foot off the floor, and when I do my demi-plie, I'm really melting into the floor from the soles of the feet and coming up. There's a beautiful connection with the soles of your feet and your central nervous system. It helps us for our alignment and our posture. So by lengthening into the floor from underneath, melting and keeping it nice and soft and alert, you are helping those connections up through the legs. So we're gonna go ahead and do a follow-along exercise. Here we go. With the right foot, nice demi-pointe from under the foot. Feel that little fire under the glutes, connected with the shoulders. And lowering down, melting the foot into the floor. All 10 toes on the floor. Knees over the toes, melting, lifting up, demi-pointe. From underneath, feel that rainbow. And the fountain coming out of the head. One more plie, demi-plie. Good, feel that little fire. You're not gonna feel it as much, but we keep it. Going from under the foot to the front, coming back under the floor. Lengthening and lifting out of the glutes. Feel the connection with the shoulders. Yay. Make sure you're breathing. Here we go to the side. Demi, your second, right? Your second might be more on a diagonal. And under the floor. Good, feel that melting feeling. Good, to the back. Activating from the back of the legs, hamstrings. Good, demi-plie, we're gonna do a battement tendu with the left leg. To the front. And feel that lengthening through the spine, cervical spine, demi-plie. Watch the knees tracking to the side, lengthening and lifting in the transverse. So much of point work is our core. Don't underestimate your core. Yay. And one more to the back. Keep going. Good, keeping those hips square. We talked about that in previous videos. Good. Excellent. So before we put on our shoes, we're gonna take the toy and just to work our toes a bit. So you may have done this before. I do find we work harder when we have an object. If you do it without the object, it's good, but I find somehow this just makes us work a little bit more. So we're just gonna do 3 circles on each foot going around. So we're trying to bring our heel forward, lengthening through the toes, and once again, moving from underneath the foot. Good, when you've done 3, we reverse it, toes back, heel forward, keep that little fire under the supporting leg where the glute and the hamstring meet, and that nice lengthening through the spine. Good, and switch. It's okay if you end up touching it, especially if you're like me looking forward and not to add your foot. So let's do the other side. It's also normal if you find one foot does not seem to want to obey you as well, right? We are not symmetrical. As you can see, mine is not obeying as well. So here we go. 1 and 2. So don't forget that turnout, right? So from the back of the legs, that beautiful barbershop spiraling sign. And 3, lifting up through the waist. Good. And we reverse, toes back, heel forward. Good. 2 and 3. So before we put our point shoes on, I just want to go over how we use our foot in our point shoes. So we really want to be lengthening the toes. Even when you are flat, like in first position, your first might be smaller. You want to feel the bottom of the toes lengthening out, as if you're like trying to take out the wrinkles on the bottom of your toes where your joint is. So when we are on point, I'm actually like this. I'm not scrunching my toes under. I'm lengthening as much as I can. So really trying to feel from the back of the toes and the front that you're really lengthening the toes. So I might as well, while I'm putting my shoes on and you're putting your shoes on, I'll show you the way I tie my point shoes. I did a tutorial on this. As you can see, my ribbons are really different lengths. So the way I do it, the outside ribbon is much shorter. So if I put my right shoe on, and then I'm gonna wrap the right ribbon around and I'm gonna put it underneath. I really like tying like this, and then I take the left one and I go around twice. What I really like about tying my shoes this way is it keeps it really neat and tidy, but it also doesn't aggravate your Achilles. You're not putting it in the back, you're putting that little hole right by your little ankle bone. So it's nice and tidy, and you're not worried about aggravating anything. Good, let's do the other side. So for the next exercises, they'll be follow along, so you can just follow along with me. They will not be complicated today. What I really want you to focus on are the things that we discussed. That feeling of connection between the shoulder blades and where your hamstrings and glutes meet, and of working from underneath the foot. You might find that your ankles feel more stable that way. I find when we work from underneath and the back of the legs, the body and even the back of the core, like your back as well as your abdominals, the body just feels more stable and supported. Let's go ahead. Here we go with the music. So from the inside of the legs, the heel, the calf, under the sole of the foot, and lengthening those toes. Lengthen the toes, heel up. Feel that spiral in both legs. Good, don't forget that connection with the shoulders where it attaches under the glutes and the hamstring. Good. Lifting up with the heel, moving from the back of the legs, melting into the floor with the soles of the feet. Again, make sure that you're tracking. Your knee is in line with your foot. Good. Lifting up through the abdominals. Feel that beautiful fountain. Good. Lengthening through the spine and demi-point, point, back mobility to the front. Toes back, heels forward. Beautiful demi-plie. Watch those knees. Feel that little fire. Under your glutes to the side. Your second. As you probably feel, it's much harder to articulate the foot in the shoe, so it's making us nice and strong. Good, keep those hips square, right? Fantastic. Demi-plie, feel the soles of the feet, all 10 toes in the floor. Other side, battement tendu, devant. Lifting under the glutes. Good. Demi-plie, knees tracking over the toes. Your first position. To the side, keep those hips square. Working those shoes through the floor, always the sole of the foot articulating. Good, and to the back. Keeping those hamstrings square, feel that beautiful spiral and the connection with the shoulders. And under your glutes, demi-plie and straighten. Fantastic. So you can stop there, or if you want to challenge yourself a little more, you can use the object again with pointe shoes. So I'm going to look, because if I don't look at it, I'm going to be probably sending the object all over. So we're going to start that spiral, right? So heel forward, toes back. That's it. The best you can do, it's much harder in the shoes. And then reversing, right? Toes back, heel forward, toes back. So I can really feel it in my inner thigh. Fantastic. Remember, we're always trying to move from the bottom and lengthening those toes out, right? So we're not scrunching our toes in our shoes. Good. Demi-point, point. And it's normal if one side is harder. This side's a lot harder for me. We do our best, right? We are a work in progress. It's not about being perfect. It's about having fun and learning. Fantastic, excellent. Let's go on to our next exercise. So just a little note, because I often forget and I do a full rotation, I want you to make sure that you're working with your first, second, and third. So please, if this is your first, don't try to open. We don't want to have our ankles rolling. You want to feel that all 10 toes are in the floor, that you have that tripod feeling I've talked about in previous videos, your big toe, your pinky, and your heel, and you feel that you're really using the turnout from the hip socket, right? That we're rotating from the back of the leg in that spiral. That's your first. Every day, it's going to be a little different. Depends what we ate, how we slept. So please work with your body. Your second position, you might have your toes more forward. If ever you feel any strain on your knee, it means that you're trying to open too much. You need to bring it in a little bit, okay? And really focus more on the top of the leg. Same thing for third position. We're gonna go ahead and do some prances and demi-points. So once again, I want you to be really focusing on the bottom part. This is what's making your foot come off the floor, is this from the back. And lengthening through the waist, lowering down. We're gonna do that 4 times, and then we're gonna do some prances. So when I do my prances, I want you to focus on lifting from the back of the legs, and the back of the legs lifting up through the abs, lengthening through the spine as you come down. We also want to make sure our weight is towards our big toe and our second toe, not towards the pinkies. Our big toe and second toe are the strongest toes in the foot, right? So we want to make sure that we distribute most of the weight there. Lifting under the glutes, and that connection here. We will then open our feet and do the same thing. Going through, and then we're gonna do little prances. So we do 4 of those. Then we're gonna do 4 lifting up from underneath the glutes, and I'm moving from the back of my legs. Look at the difference if what I really work on with my students on Pointe is not to do this, right? If I'm moving too much from my quad, then I have a tendency to move my hip. If here you move from the inner thigh and the back of the leg and the calf, do you see how my hips don't move? They stay neutral. That's what we want with Pointe work. We do not want to add extra work, right? We don't want to change our alignment. That's where injuries happen and pain. So we should be constantly lifting out of our shoes. It's going to help you to have less blisters. I actually don't have any blisters. One day I'll take a picture of my feet so you'll believe me. The more we lift using our glutes, the more we're moving from the inside of like the sole of the foot, the better it is. Let's go ahead and try it. Here we go. Demi. And watching that alignment, make sure that we're moving from the back of the legs, lifting out of the waist, lengthening in the transverse. Good. Feel your little fire. One more. Good. Demi point, point. From the sole of the foot. Good. And now, little prances. Demi point. Up onto point. Lifting up. Moving from the soles of the feet. And again. Making sure we're going towards our big toes. Good. Feel that connection of the shoulders with the connecting hamstring and glute. Excellent. First position. Here we go. Demi. Feel that the knee is tracking over the toes and lifting. So we're really lifting up so the heel is going up towards your calf. Demi. Good. Lengthening. Heel up towards the calf. Again. Always lifting out of the shoes. You don't want to be sinking in. Good. From the knee and the calf. Here we go with a releve. Prancing. And like when we did our prances in 6th. Lifting behind the glutes. Keep lifting, keep lifting. And it's the inner thigh. Don't focus too much on the quad. And again, up, lifting up, lengthening in the spine. Good. Plie 1. To feel that lift already. Under the glutes, keep it going. Moving from the soles of the feet and lifting up. Heels and calves. Plie. Stretch. Lifting through the transverse. Imagine that fountain. Lifting up. Good. Plie. Straight up. Plie. Knees over the toes. Tracking. Here we go. Really focusing on the soles of the feet. Push the heels on the floor. Up. From the soles of the feet. All the inside of the legs. Plie. Attention à la seconde. And demi. Straightening. Not too wide. Up. Lifting, feel that lift under the arch. Plie. Keep that fire, don't lose it. It's gonna help you. You wanna lengthen in the quads, lifting in the hamstrings. Good, plie. Pushing with the heels, keeping that plumb line. Plie. And stretch. One more time. Knees tracking over the toes. And up. Plie. Good. That entendu. And finish. That we do in 3rd or 5th position. So we're going to do 2 that are nice and slow. Straightening up, going up. Really feeling that sole of the foot, the heel lengthening up. Feel that little fire. We're going to close the front leg in. Don't think of moving the foot. Focus on the inner thigh squeezing in. And then when you lower, you're going to open from the inner thigh, lifting up, lowering down, plie and stretch. We're going to do that twice. You can either repeat that again, or if you want to work a little bit differently, we're going to do the one that snatches under. What I prefer, what I always talk about with my students, once again, the sole of the foot is coming in, but also really use your inner thighs. Do not underestimate. It's not just your feet in Pointe work, right? It's mostly your core, your turnout, and then the feet. So when you're doing your snatching, focus on squeezing those inner thighs together. Squeeze both of them equally. People have a tendency to just move the front leg. Move both, and then open your inner thighs towards the side when you come down, and let the sole of your foot slide open. So do you see if I do sole of the foot up and sole of the foot down, my body knows where to go. If I start from the toes, I might go too far, not far enough, and then my quads overactivate. So by focusing on the inside, like when we do our coup de pied, right, anything like that, feel this moving, it's gonna help your body to know exactly how much to move. Let's go ahead and finish with this exercise. Here we go, let's try the exercise. I'm gonna show it first in third, and later I'll be doing it in fifth. Here we go. Demi-plie, watching those knees, tracking over the toes. Good, lifting through the transverse, lifting. Back of the legs, sole of the feet. Feel your toes lengthening in your shoes. Bring that leg in from the inner thigh. Opening from the inner thigh, coming back to third. Demi-plie. Stretch, here we go. Again. Lengthening through the waist, feel that beautiful fountain coming out of the top of your head. Good, always heels up. Good, plie, now we're gonna do the snatching. Both inner thighs, good. Sorry, I went into fifth there. Opening from the inner thighs and then squeezing them in and back out. Here we go to the left. So lifting under the glutes, lengthening through our spine, really articulating through the feet, from the soles of the feet, good, squeezing in, opening from that inner thigh, lifting up as we go down, good, plie, let's do that again, knees tracking over, hips nice and square, here we go. You want to also feel that your quads are lengthening, right? We want to have nice lengthened legs from the back, the hamstrings, and from the front, and going through those shoes, good, plie, and stretch. Let's do our snatching under. Up and lift as you go down. Again, demi-plie. Up, squeezing in and opening. Good. So for that last part, it's really important. You have to lift up higher. If you don't lift up higher under the glutes and really use your abdominals, you feel you have no space to open the legs. So you have to lift up as you go down. Here we go, right foot in front, plie. Straightening up, lifting out of the legs, lifting out of the waist, squeeze those inner thighs. Soles of the feet, plie, stretch, plie. Straightening up, feel the abdominals, feel the heels, soles of the feet, squeezing, feel that connection with the shoulders and glutes. Here we go, plie. Snatch, plie, and think of lifting up. The more you get, the taller you get. So here, feel that fire, squeezing and feel the fire, and feel the fire even more. Good, let's do the other side. Left leg in front, plie. Feel that lifting, straightening up, going through the feet, lifting out of the shoes. Good, inner thigh, lifting up, plie. Feel that plumb line so we're not going on an angle. Plie. Straightening up, looking in front of you. Lifting up and out of the shoe. Good. Feel that fire. Feel your abs. Plie. Takes a lot of core strength to do point. Plie, here we go. Squeezing in both inner thighs and plie. Make sure your knees are tracking over your toes. Plie. Last one. Feel that fire. Up, squeeze those inner thighs and let them go. Excellent. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. I will be posting more and more videos on point work and technique. Please feel free to subscribe, and thank you for joining me.